Señoritas y señores, bienvenidos a otro video número 13 para el Español 3H, Spanish 3 Honors. Welcome back to my clase de Español. And ladies and gentlemen, we are still on Chapter 3A, the first half of Chapter 3. I know it's hard to believe, but for whatever reason, the smarties that they are, the people who invented the book, they decided to jam-pack all of these grammar lessons into one half chapter. I don't know why they did it, but that's the way it's got to be. So the last time I taught you a grammar lesson for Chapter 3A, it was affirmative do commands and negative do commands. So in this video number 13, you guys are going to be learning all about telling usted what to do with affirmative usted commands, telling ustedes what to do with affirmative ustedes commands, and then finally, negative usted and negative ustedes commands. So telling usted and ustedes what not to do. So a lot of information. And you know what? I don't really have time to kind of screw around at the beginning of this lesson. We got to get right to it. So let's take a look at your textbook. And this information can be found in your textbook, página 123, page 123 in the Spanish 3 Honors book. So once again, I'm going to give you two options to remember how to formulate affirmative and negative usted and ustedes commands. So pick your preferred method, and the first part of this video will be analyzing what the book says. The second part of this video will be I'll be showing you a PowerPoint as to another alternate method on how to get these going. Okay, so let's take a look at the book method. To give commands to people other than tú and to more than one person, use the usted and ustedes commands. To form a command with usted, well, you remove the S from a negative tú command form. All right, let's pause right there and let's analyze that first bit. To form a command with usted, remove the S from a negative tú command form. Well, let's take a look at these negative tú commands. And there's three of them right over here. No hables, no traigas la receta, no vayas al consultorio. So don't talk, don't bring the prescription, and don't go to the doctor's office or the medical office. All right. So if you learned how to do negative tú commands, you're going to need to know that information so that you know how to tell usted what to do. So take a look. No hables. All right. According to this, remove the S. Bingo. Hable. All right, and that is your affirmative usted command. Take a look at the next sentence. No traigas la receta. So you just take the word traigas, drop the S. Traiga. That is your affirmative usted command. No vayas al consultorio. Same procedure. Vaya. All right, you drop the S, and that is your affirmative usted command. What if you're talking to a group of people? What if you're talking to ustedes? Here's what happens. To form a command with ustedes, replace the S of your original negative tú command, and you replace the S with the letter N, and that is going to be telling a group of people what to do with ustedes. So take a look. No hables. All right, now we take the S in hables, replace it with an N. Now you're telling everyone to speak. Hablen. No traigas. Same procedure. Replace the S in traigas with the letter N. Traigan. No vayas. Replace that S with an N. Vayan. And now you know how to tell a group of people to do something. All right? Well, let's tell either usted or ustedes what not to do. These are negative usted and ustedes commands. But take a look what it says in the book. To form a negative usted and ustedes command, you just add the word no before the command word. So thankfully, that's muy fácil. Take a look. Coma frutas. Okay, so you're telling usted to eat fruit. Pero no coma muchos dulces. But don't eat too many candies. Notice that it says no coma. The word coma is an affirmative usted command by itself, but now you put the word no in front. Now it's a negative usted command. You just told a grandma or somebody that's older with respect, don't eat that. No coma. All right? And you can go back up to these original affirmative usted commands. It is correct Spanish for you to say no hable, no traiga, no vaya. You see, what I'm doing is just putting the word no in front of all of these, and that turns them into negative usted commands. All right? Same deal with telling ustedes what not to do. Add the word no in front. So, no salten comidas. Okay, by itself, the word salten is to tell everyone, ustedes, skip foods. Add the word no, don't skip foods. And again, using the earlier examples, no hablen, no traigan, no vayan. Now you turn those original affirmative ustedes commands to negative ustedes commands by just simply adding the word no in front. All right? Attach reflexive, direct, and indirect object pronouns to the end of affirmative usted and ustedes commands. All right? So just like affirmative tú commands, the very first lesson that we had in this half chapter, chapter 3a, remember how I told you that pronouns, whether they're reflexive or direct or indirect, DOPs or IOPs, they attach at the end of your command word like Lego blocks. It's the same thing when you're telling usted and ustedes. Take a look at these examples. Tomen esas pastillas. Okay, the word tomen is your affirmative ustedes command. Tómenlas. Tómenlas. Take a look. Las is your DOP representing las pastillas. Accent over the O. Tómenlas. You're telling a group of people, take them. Lleve la receta. Por favor. Llévela. All right? You're telling usted to take. La receta is represented by the DOP la. Llévela. Llévela. All right? So what if you have negative usted and ustedes commands with these pronouns? Well, what you got to do here is that you have to put it in between the word no and the command word. No le pidan dulces. No le pidan. Okay? So the pronoun goes right in the middle, just like a negative tú command. All right. A lot of information to take in, I know. That's the book version. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PowerPoint version, and I can show you this again in La Clase de Español. So let's recap the whole thing, but this time with option number 2. To form an affirmative command with usted, here's option number 2. Take the yo form of a present tense verb. Let's take hablar, and let's turn that into yo hablo, because that's what it turns into, hablo. Second step, drop the O. Okay, so now we just have HABL. Now, for AR ending verbs, you're going to have to add an E. And for ER and IR ending verbs, you're going to have to add an A. So again, kind of like negative tú commands, you're going to have to think about putting the opposite vowel that you would have originally when you're conjugating it. All right? So take a look at these examples. Okay, we have our infinitive hablar. Change it to yo, hablo. And then drop the O, replace it with an E, hable. All right? Comer, yo como. And then change the O to the letter A, coma. Salir turns into salgo. And then we get rid of the O, put an A in its place because it's an IR ending verb, infinitive. Salga. And then finally, traer is your ER ending infinitive. Traigo, and then we get rid of the O, put an A in its place, traiga. All right? So that is your affirmative usted command, talking to grandma or somebody like that. Now, what if you're talking to a group of people, ustedes? Well, simply add an N to your usted command, and bingo. Now it's ustedes. Now you're talking to a group of people. So originally we had hable, coma, salga, traiga. Now to talk to a group of people, hablen, coman, salgan, traigan. All right? So that's another way to look at making ustedes commands, affirmative ustedes commands. Okay, let's analyze making negative usted and ustedes commands. Let's start with the usted commands. Just like in the book, guess what? You're just going to have to add the word no before your command words. So if you already were able to figure out how to say hable to usted, now you just put no hable. Okay? Same deal with ustedes. Put the word no in front. No hablen. All of you, don't speak. And just repeat the process. Comer, let's say comer. No coma. All right? No coman. No traiga. No traigan. All right? So for usted, to recap, for usted, no hable, no coma, no traiga. For ustedes, for all of you, no hablen, no coman, no traigan. All right? Just put the word no in front of these, and you can't go wrong. All right? There are irregular usted and ustedes commands. There's a total of 5. And here they are. For usted, sea. For ustedes, sean. Okay, so these are all affirmative right over here. Okay. For estar, you say esté for usted. Estén for ustedes. For dar, you say de for usted. Den for ustedes. Saber, you say sepa for usted. Sepan for ustedes. And then finally for ir, you say vaya for usted. Vayan for ustedes. All right, and those are the irregular ones. To make these irregular usted and ustedes commands negative, just put the word no in front. No sea, no sean, no esté, no estén, no de, no den, no sepa, no sepan, no vaya, no vayan. All right? And that's all you got to do. To make these into these, just put the word no in front. And then let's talk about the pronouns, whether they're from a reflexive verb. You know, the se part is a pronoun. DOPs, IOPs. Now, if your command for usted and ustedes is affirmative, you're telling usted and ustedes what to do, you're going to attach these at the end like a Lego block, and then an accent mark goes when it's necessary. Take a look. Usted, tome las. Tome las. For ustedes, tomen las. Tomen las. For usted, cepíllese los dientes. Okay? For ustedes, cepíllense. All of you, cepíllense los dientes. Usted, pídalo. Ask for it. Pídalo. All of you guys, pídanlo. All of you ask for it. Pídanlo. All right? Now, if they're negative commands, these same reflexive pronouns, direct object pronouns, and indirect object pronouns, they go between your word no and the command word. So once again, let's see here. If you know how to do all these, now you just squeeze in the pronoun right in the middle of those two words to utilize those pronouns. No las tome for usted. No las tomen for all of you, for ustedes. No se cepille for usted. No se cepillen for ustedes. No le pida for usted. And then finally, no le pidan for ustedes. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, aren't you glad that you signed up for Spanish 3 Honors? After all, it being an honors class es muy difícil. Now we're starting to get to what Nacho Libre said in the movie Nacho Libre. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. So stick with it, clase. We'll get through it together, juntos. That is it for me. I am going home. It is late. Señoritas y señores, thank you once again for watching these homework videos. Don't forget to leave a comment, and I will see you in la clase de Español. Take it easy. Adiós.